And welcome back. What am I going to talk about today? Well, first of all, I've noticed that people don't seem to be too interested in holy crap that's going off the ledge, isn't it? Well, now you guys know what it looks like when you go out of bounds and you have to redo it. But like I said, I don't really care enough. So I'm just going to keep going like nothing bad ever happened. I've noticed that neither Donkey Kong Land 2 or Jet Force Gemini are getting nearly as many views as, say, Mother 3 did, or Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, or just about any of my other projects did. And I can't really say I'm too surprised about that. No one seems to be very interested in Game Boy games, I think just because of the graphics. I mean, nowadays you have your Xbox 360s and your PS3s that have 720p graphics or high def, whatever the hell they have. I'm not really sure because I don't have one personally, and I don't see what true high-quality video gaming is like nowadays. But you guys do. So they compare it to something like the Game Boy, and they think it's probably the worst piece of shit game they've ever seen in their lives, and they just look away from it, and they never go back to it. And I can sort of relate to that. But at the same time, and I rant about this in one of the videos, I can't really excuse it either. Don't get me wrong. I think you have the right to watch or not watch whatever videos you like. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of something like YouTube, where you can look up any sort of video you want to watch, and it's there for you. So you can pick and choose, and there are, I don't know, millions of videos there? Does anyone take an inventory of how many videos are uploaded to YouTube? I digress. Game Boy graphics, even though they're pretty low quality based on today's standards, you still have to respect the classics, and I know I rant about this in one of the videos, although I forget which one. Respect the classics, please. I'm not saying you should definitely watch it because of that, but at the same time, understand that there are games with lower quality graphics and things that may or may not be entertaining to you. You may be surprised. Just give them a chance, that's all I ask. As far as Jet Force Gemini is concerned, can't say I was expecting that one to be a big hit either, because it's nothing like anything I've posted lately. I mean, it is a Rareware game, and it is pretty strange, considering you're just going through space shooting ants and saving bears. It's a pretty strange concept. And although it was pretty innovational for its time, I can understand that it's probably not the most entertaining thing to watch either. Especially for those of you that aren't subscribed for shooters, which I can understand because I'm not a big fan of them either. But it's still something that I enjoy playing, and I felt like a change of pace. You know me, I'm the change of pace dude, right? This is going to be a really tough one to judge. It's up 5 yards. Sorry, just wanted to concentrate a bit on that. That was a lot closer to the hole than I expected it to be. Yeah, but Jet Force Gemini, it's going to get a little more entertaining, hopefully later on. I mean, after I get past the first half of the game, then I have to backtrack for all the stuff that we couldn't get before, which is going to be annoying to do. And from then on, it just gets absurdly difficult. Well, maybe not absurdly difficult, just for me, because I'm not great at the game, or any shooters for that matter. It'll just get annoying. Because if I have to go back to a planet and a single tribal dies after spending a half an hour looking for all of them, I have to restart the whole thing. That gets annoying. But that's something that I'll deal with off-screen that you guys probably won't have to worry about. That's the main thing about Let's Playing that I think is underrated, just how much stuff gets cut out or how many retries you have to do with something. And why I enjoy doing these casual things where I can screw up as much as I want and still have a perfectly good rant to put it up with. Like Mario Golf, anyway. I mean, I could get a plus 10 for all I care. The rant is the important thing. And I don't have to worry about not doing well. So there's that, and that's why I enjoy these casual things.
Oh, yes.
But all the work that goes into Let's Play, you can't really understand it until you try it yourself. How much work goes into it, how much stuff you... just setting up the recording is difficult enough. Ask anybody that's tried doing this. I mean, even without putting commentary over it, just setting up the recording for any sort of playthrough. Not the easiest thing to do in the world. There are a lot of things that you can play around with, a lot of settings and preferences. Surprisingly, many of them. And that's just recording itself. Then you have the editing process, the whole thing that's involved with that. Cutting out half the stuff you did can be a little frustrating at times. Thinking, oh, hey, I'll just sit down, record for 2 hours, and I'll have 2 hours worth of content. Doesn't work that way. You may only have like 2 videos worth of content. See if that's enough. I forgot how much putting from the fairway takes off your shot. Then there's rendering, finding the right settings to render with, to publish with, compressing it. How much will YouTube compress it? How good will it look after you do that? Surprisingly, there's a lot of settings you have to play around with. Maybe I should have hit it a little bit harder. Nah, it's fine. I mean, when you get right down to it, you can only appreciate it if you've tried it before. And I don't want that to turn away anybody who's aspiring to try this sort of thing. By all means, go for it. Try these things for yourself. Quite frankly, I have fun testing these things out. I enjoy doing that, seeing what works better than other things. It's just that when I don't have time to do it, it's frustrating.
Oh, yes.
I mean, speaking of which, right now, Jet Force Gemini has a widescreen feature, even though it was made more than 10 years ago for the Nintendo 64. It has widescreen, and it said at the very beginning, presented in widescreen. That is true widescreen. The only problem with it is, when it says widescreen, it just takes the 4:3 display and smooshes it into 16:9. So even though I have a full widescreen TV that will fill it, it will be filled up if it does true widescreen, but that's not how the N64 did widescreen. So I have to zoom in to a screen that's maybe half the size to maintain the true widescreenness. Widescreen display. Now I could, if I wanted to, keep the 4:3 display and just stretch it out, but that'll be the stretchy widescreen. The problem is, the 4:3 display, which I would be stretching, would still have a higher resolution because it's a larger display on the screen, whereas the 16:9, even though it is true widescreen, it only takes up a smaller amount of the display. I don't know if that makes any sense. I just wanted to concentrate on a power shot because I could really use a better score than -1. So I could either go with the lower resolution display with the true widescreen, which is what I've been doing, or I could go higher resolution. Should I power shot this? I'm going for it, screw you. I could either go with the higher resolution and the stretchy display, or I could go with the lower resolution and the true widescreen display, which is what I've been doing. It's just little things like that you have to fiddle around with when you're doing this sort of thing, that you don't really think about otherwise. Makes you sit back and appreciate what's going on, and I can't tell what the lie is. The whole thing might be on a slope for all I know. Yeah, better to over-adjust, I guess? No, it's not that steep. I think it's just in between. But I have a tendency to overshoot, so I'll just go with a little bit. And see what that does. That may be just short, or it may not. Yep. Oh, that's okay. It was for Eagle. I don't mind. But it's little things like that that you don't appreciate unless you try this yourself.
Nice birdie.
And once again, if you want to, go for it. If you have any questions, by all means, feel free to send me a personal message. I wouldn't mind getting back to you. It may take a day or two, depending on how busy I am, but I'd love to get back to you on this sort of thing. Now, by no means am I the authority on this. I'm still learning. Personally, I'm very stubborn. I'm set in my ways, and there may be a better way for me to do what I'm doing, but I don't really give a crap, because I enjoy what I'm doing, and it works, and I am stubborn, so I don't care what you have to say. I understand that's not the best way to be about anything. Stubbornness is usually frowned upon, and it isn't one of my most redeeming qualities, but I am stubborn. I completely forgot what I was saying, which is probably for the best since we're almost done here. And it's raining. And I'm sad now. But yeah, a lot of other things I wanted to talk about I'll just save for the final course. And like I said, I don't really care that I didn't get first place in this tournament. I'm just doing this for the sake of doing it. I'm having fun, and that's all that matters. And that's all that should matter to you guys, too. Just have fun with whatever you're doing. Now, before I leave you guys and say my goodbyes, there is one best shot I want to show off that I talked about in the last video. So here you go.